the Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by NFL All Day. 2 Super Bowl champions and a girl wearing 3 pairs of pants out here on the concourse. My name is Madelyn Burke, joined by Super Bowl champion Shaun O'Hara, Super Bowl champion Amani, Toomer. Guys, this has been a tough one for the New York Football Giants today, falling to the visiting Lions 31-18. Of course, turnovers a big point in this loss.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And coming into the game, the Giants only given the ball away 8 times, so they've done a great job of it. And then now here they come the Detroit Lions, and the mistakes just started to pile up. Not just turnovers, but penalties also reared their ugly head. The Giants lost some players early on, but really for one of the first times all season long, Amani, I feel like the Giants they got dominated at the line of scrimmage. They couldn't run the football. They couldn't stop the run. And this Detroit Lions football team is very physical. They're very physical up front. They have very physical running backs. We saw Jamal Williams punch the ball in numerous times, DeAndre Swift. Defensively, they just couldn't hang with it. But I think the frustrating part was offensively to see the lack of production from Saquon Barkley. This was the second worst run defense in the league coming into this game. They struggled to get off the field on 3rd down as well, and the Giants could not capitalize.
I just think defense coordinator Aaron Glenn said, look, Saquon Barkley is not going to beat us today. And they proceeded to shut him down and see what the Giants were going to do next. And they weren't able to adjust enough. Slayton had a couple good catches. You know, the offense seemed to be going, but it was very much in spurts. And the inconsistency of Daniel Jones throwing the football reared its ugly head. You know, they were not able to sustain drives and then put the ball in the end zone instead of getting, they were on the fringe a few times, and the drive ultimately got slowed down, and it just was inconsistent. And like you said, Shaun, maybe the second time this season, they really got dominated on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
You know, Madelyn, one thing I will say, this is a tough place to play. You know it, I know it. Today was not a windy day. Today was a gusty day. So I look, Daniel Jones, all right, everybody's going to look at the stats. What did he do? Hey, the interceptions, the turnovers. When you look at the way he threw the football, given how windy it was today, I don't think he gets enough credit for how tight his spiral is. You did not see any wobbly passes from him. He could spin the ball, and he proved today that he could cut through that wind. Now, they just don't have anybody that could go deep, so we didn't get to see his deep ball in the wind. Yeah. But, the offense, it just looked like it was shallow cross after shallow cross, and it was, a lot of intermediate routes. There was no explosive plays, and part of it is weather-related. We even saw Goff try to take a couple deep shots, and the ball gets underthrown, and the ball hangs up there. So it's a tough day to do that. Knowing that was the case coming into the game, you knew, and this is an old lineman's dream too, and we're going to run the ball 50 times, and the fact that they couldn't capitalize on that, look, injuries definitely played a part. Matt Parrott was in there at right tackle for Tyree Phillips, who hurt his neck. Then Feliciano goes down, Nick Gates is in there, so now there goes the extra heavy offensive lineman package. So there was a lot of things that led to all that, but ultimately, this is a game the Giants should have won. They could have won. They just didn't play well.
Well, and you mentioned that win, too. We saw how it came into effect, too, with those 2 missed PATs by Graham Gano, the usually reliable Graham Gano, that got caught in the wind a little bit there, too. But Saquon Barkley, this team has focused on that run, and the Lions defense really keyed in on Saquon Barkley as we take a look at his numbers today. 15 rushes for just 22 yards on the ground, 2 receptions for 13 yards. It's an uncharacteristically low production from Saquon Barkley. But Amani, one of the things we were talking about too while watching this game is, it took them a while to go to Daniel Jones as the alternate option, something that they had been doing in weeks past.
Yeah, they were doing a run-pass option, and Daniel Jones was always giving the ball to Saquon. There was a few times early on that I felt Daniel Jones had the better opportunity because the defense of the Detroit Lions was so focused on stopping Saquon Barkley. They needed to adjust and adapt quicker. I think they did towards the end of the game, but by then it was too little too late. But you got to remember, this team wins because they do not turn the ball over, and they win the turnover battle consistently. If this team doesn't win the turnover battle, they're not the type of team that can overcome those types of things. So, and the Giants win by playing close to the vest football today. They were really sloppy, like you said, Shaun, with the turnovers, with the penalties as well. Those types of things, this team isn't built to win that way.
Yeah, they have to play clean football in order to give themselves a chance to win the game in the 4th quarter. They didn't do that today, which is why they didn't have the opportunity. I think when you look at what the Detroit Lions did defensively, you have to give them credit. You mentioned Aaron Glenn. They did a great job of getting penetration on the front side. How many times did you see Saquon today not be able to press the run? He had to cut back. And, of course, he's cutting back into that extra safety that they were inserting into the box at the snap. You can do that when you don't have a vertical passing game to threaten that single high safety. So, look, everything played out into their hands with given the conditions, given how the game went. But these are the type of games where you've got to find a way to manufacture some points. You mentioned Gano having an off day too. I think the good thing for the Giants is you've got 3 days, and then you got to flush this one out, and you got another shot against a divisional opponent.
Sometimes that's the best thing to happen.
Right.
Wash it away.
Just, you know what?
Don't even think about it. Let's just move on.
A division game as well. And, one guy, though, who did have some numbers today, number 86 on his jersey, number 86 in the stat sheet, 86 receiving yards for Darius Slayton. He's on the field with our Paul Dottino.
I like how you did that.
Thanks.
Darius, obviously a disappointing loss today. What did not work for the offense? Why couldn't it get going?
We just didn't make enough plays. They were there, and we just didn't make them when we needed to make them.
You've been such a second-half team so far during the course of this season. Did you think at halftime that there could be a spark?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we always got faith in ourselves, believe that we can get it done, and at the end of the day, we just weren't able to make the plays we needed to make to win the game.
How much more difficult is it for your passing game when a defense shuts down Saquon in the rushing attack?
I think we moved it pretty well. Passing the ball, just penalties killed us ultimately. Penalties, miscues, that was ultimately what killed us.
Yeah, and then finally, your play continues to be on fire over the last month or so. At least from a personal standpoint, that's got to feel good that you kept the momentum.
Yeah, but I can't take too much credit because I left a few out there today myself. So, we all got to be better, and we will be going forward.
How do you turn the page for Dallas?
Lock in, watch film tomorrow, learn from this experience, and get ready to go.
Thank you, Darius. Appreciate it.
That sound from Darius Slayton brought to you by Ford. 5 receptions, 86 yards, a 24-yard long gain for the receiver. As we've seen, as Paul mentioned, Darius Slayton's games really stepped up in recent weeks. All right, of course, guests of our post-game show received a gift certificate to Ben & Jack's, located on 44th Street in Manhattan. From the celebrated porterhouse to finer seafood, Ben & Jack's will surpass your expectations of what a steakhouse should be. After the break, we're going to hear from head coach Brian Daboll. That and much more as we continue to recap this Giants-Lions game here on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by NFL All Day.
What if you could own a moment? A moment when everything is on the line. I know the moment I'd want. Sunday, January 16th, the playoffs. We couldn't miss. That's a moment I'd like to own forever. Now you can too. Own the moments that matter. NFL All Day.
In this town, you need to be productive 24/7. One truck is up to the challenge. The Ford F-150. It's the only one available with a mobile generator, with a work surface in the front and in the back. And the only one that's part of F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 45 years straight and counting. Right now, F-150 trucks are in stock for immediate delivery with 2.9% financing for 60 months.
Don't freak out, but you can get 50% off all menu price Domino's pizzas when you order online right now.
Right now?
Right now.
Right now?
Right now? Right now.
50% off, honey! Right now!
Now through the end of the week, get 50% off all menu price pizzas when you order online at Domino's.
At the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, your safety and security is top priority. That's why if you see something that feels dangerous or suspicious, just dial 911. You won't get in trouble, and you don't have to give your name. Let's work together and keep our region safe. Visit the Port Authority website to learn more.
When we found out that she was pregnant with our son, we decided we wanted to make a Rangers-themed baby shower.
I did anything I could to find Rangers anything. I did a hockey puck cake, everything red, white, and blue.
It makes me so happy that I could pass down something that was passed down to me, and hopefully they love it too.
Wins are hard to come by in this league, and we got a scrappy bunch.
The fans certainly did their part.
They absolutely did.
Coach, let's get into some plays.
You try to coach that the best you can. But remember, it's still about our preparation and our process.
Giants fans, don't miss the second legacy game at MetLife Stadium on Sunday, December 4th. The team will be in their throwback uniforms from the 80s and 90s as they host the Washington Commanders. The stadium will be branded in throwback designs, including an exclusive collectible pennant for the first 30,000 fans in attendance. Limited tickets are available. Visit Giants.com/tickets to secure your seat today. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by NFL All Day. Madelyn Burke, Shaun O'Hara, Amani, Toomer. Guys, tough loss for the Giants, falling 31-18 to the visiting Detroit Lions. But Shaun, as we were talking about in the break, as you mentioned, if I had told you the Giants would have had 413 yards of total offense, Daniel Jones would have passed for 341 yards, and this would be a loss for the Giants. That you probably wouldn't believe that.
No, I wouldn't have. I would have called you crazy. And I think when you look at what the Giants have done all season long offensively, I mean, this has been one of their biggest productions passing-wise. It's because they had to try to find a way to get back into the game. But that's when you kind of look at the stats, it's like it doesn't really tell you the whole meaning of the game. And I think when you just look at, take the stats out of it, the physical side of it, they lost the physical battle today. And that's something that they had not done really all year long. I kind of go back to the Seattle loss. This game felt a lot like the Seattle loss. There you see the numbers right there for DJ. The 2 interceptions, all right, the 1 interception was to Aiden Hutchinson, who was dropping in coverage. It was a zone blitz. He never even saw him. So that wasn't like a poor decision. That was just, hey, a really good defense, and he didn't see him. But I think when you look at those numbers right there, man, the fact that he threw the ball 44 times, that was not by design. They did not come into this game saying, hey, we're going to throw the ball 44 times given the weather and the wind. That was out of necessity. That's not how the Giants are built to win football games, as we saw from the previous week against Houston when Saquon had 35 touches.
You're right. They're not supposed to throw it for 44 times, but this is what the game does. This is what the game called for. We had to throw the ball a lot. We were behind. Saquon wasn't able to be the workhorse as he ordinarily is. That's when you have your franchise quarterback pull the weight and make up for the difference. And so now the question arises again, is he the franchise quarterback? He's had a great season so far. You're not going to throw the baby with the bathwater out because it's only one game, but this questions definitely start to arise because this is a perfect opportunity for him to prove himself and get to the point where there's no more questions about Daniel Jones. I hear it all the time. How many times you walk around the street, hey, what do you think of Daniel Jones? It's just one thing I wish we could put to bed, but games like this bring it up again.
Well, and those 2 interceptions, as we mentioned as well, he's been on a league-leading streak of 145 passes coming into this game without an interception, the most active streak in the league. So he's definitely taking care of that element of his game this season.
Yeah, coming into the game, I mean, 6 straight games without interception. So I look at this game, and it's like, okay, a lot of people are going to say, to your point, Amani, there's Daniel Jones again. And it's like, okay, which Daniel Jones is he?
Yeah.
I look at the way he's played this year. I think it's been phenomenal. And, look, there are no excuses in the NFL, but there are reasons for certain things. And every single week, it's a different receiving core. Wan'Dale Robinson went out of the game again today. Kenny Golladay is on the field, off the field. It's just constant rotation at receiver. That is not ideal. Like, you look at the top quarterbacks in the NFL right now, they have consistency at the wide receiver position. It's the same 3 guys week in and week out, maybe one guy here or there, but that relationship is so important and that timing is so important.
All right, well, head coach Brian Dable is stepping up to the podium right now, so let's send it down to coach.
How's everybody doing? Okay. Obviously not the outcome that we wanted. It's hard to win a game when you have 3 turnovers and don't get any. There's some things we did well, but not good enough. Give Detroit credit for the win.
A lot of injuries you suffered there on what now is going to be a really short week.
Mm-hmm.
How hard was that to get through this game and continually losing guys like that?
Yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens in each game. I'll get with the trainers after this and talk about it and come up with a plan on a short week. And it's what it is. There's no excuses. I don't know, Jordan. Yeah. No, he looked like he was in a lot of pain. He did. I don't know what the answer. I don't know what it is. I'll find out after I'm done with this.
Report already out there that Dory sprained his MCL. Is that accurate?
I don't know. I haven't talked to any of these guys yet. So.
Any regrets about putting him back there?
No, I mean, it's football. Obviously, it was unfortunate, but we'll see where we're at here tomorrow and later tonight.
What specifically did you see them do with Saquon? He just didn't seem to have any.
Yeah, no, they just did. They did a good job up front. They went up front, made tackles in space. Bottled up the run game pretty good. That's obviously a big part of what we do. There's just too many. Look, we had some plays. We executed, in the red zone some. Third down probably wasn't good enough, 5 of 13. Daniel threw for a lot of yards, but that doesn't really matter relative to, we had 2 interceptions there. I think, 17 points off of turnovers. If you have 3 turnovers and the other team has 0, you're probably going to lose every game.
Coach, what you learn about the win out here, and how does it affect the way you call the offense?
Nah, it was a little windy, but there's no excuses. We didn't do a good enough job. That starts with me. So we got a short week. We got to get ready to go to Dallas.
What happened on the first interception that Daniel did? Hutchinson?
One to Hutchinson. He didn't see him. He dropped. In a zone pressure, he dropped right into it. He saw Slayton coming across, densely Aiden, and he made a good play on it. Next one was overthrow, that they made the play, and then we turned the ball over there as we were trying to come back on a fumble there. So, put them in good situations for them, 17 points. It's hard to overcome.
Why did you take Shane from you out?
We wanted to play Azudu at half.
How did Shane play it in the first half?
I'd just say we'd want to play Azudu. I think Shane will work hard, but, we talked about it. We made the switch there.
Why start Shane in the first place?
Why start Shane? Because we thought that was the best thing to do relative to practice where we were, and got Azudu some reps here in the second half. Everybody good?
You guys have not been in a position where you've had to throw the ball so much with a deficit. We wondered, what is it going to look like? What did you think it looked like?
Well, I'd say nothing looked good enough today. When you lose, it doesn't matter about yards, stats, any of that stuff. The only thing that matters is executing the way we need to execute. And just wasn't good enough today. Again, it's hard to overcome 3 turnovers, have a 3-0 differential. I know it's boring, but that's the truth. It's a lot of things we could do better. It starts with me, and that's what we'll do.
Other than the turnovers, Brian, what disturbs you most about this game? There were a couple of penalties that kind of set you guys back, or
nothing was good enough, Mark. I'd say nothing was up to standard.
You guys, throughout the season, even in the games you lost, emotions never really entered the following week. You had Monday to move past it and then move in, but with it being a short week, do you want to put more of a focus on this team and the emotions of this team to make sure that you guys bounce back this week on a short week?
Yeah, we're going to come in tomorrow and get ready for Dallas. That's all we can do. We got to put this one in the rear view pretty quickly. I've been part of Thanksgiving games, or obviously Thursday games for a while here. That's what you got to do. Put it to bed and get ready to play Dallas.
Can all the injuries that you guys have at all take an emotional toll on the guys that are out there? They all know next man up, but it's got to hurt to see so many guys go down.
Yeah, no, look, you never want to see anybody go down, but that's the nature of the NFL. There's injuries every game. You feel bad for the guys that do go out, but you got to get ready to play.
Has been very effective in his career and efficient. Any explanation as to what happened on his two PATs?
The one got blocked, I think. The first one got blocked, and then there was pressure on the second one too. So got to look, every area we got to do a better job of.
How did you see Saquon handle a day that didn't go like they normally do for him?
I couldn't hear you.
How did you see Saquon handle a day that didn't go as well as they normally do for him?
Like a pro, yeah.
How did you see Kenny respond this past week to get 2 catches today?
Yeah, no, he did a good job in practice. We were going to play him, and he made the plays that came his way. So we'll try to build off that.
Right. You mentioned earlier about Adoree getting hurt in the punt return.
Yeah.
This is obviously something you guys and the whole coaching staff decided at some point, the risk-reward of everything. Yeah. You were asked about regretting it, and you said no, but there is a large risk of a guy who's such an important player in that position. Is it something that was difficult for you to come to this decision?
No, I'd say there's a risk playing every player, regardless of what the position is. I told you before, I've been part of a lot of teams where starting receivers, starting DBs played. Look, you just try to do what's best for the team, and hopefully he'll be back as soon as he can.
I know there's ebbs and flows of an NFL season.
Yeah, a lot of them usually.
I'm sure you're part of every team you've been. You've kind of, for lack of better words, laid a dud and played a poor game.
Yeah.
How much do you, as a coach, view it that way? Then say, okay, wait, this is kind of, this is just our bad game. Let's just throw it away and go to the side, or?
Well, I think it's a little different too. You got a game in a few days. So you got to move on really quickly, Jordan. Other than that, we would do the same thing after a win. We would come in, we would correct it, we'd move on, and we would do the things we try to do each week to try to win a game.
It's the first time you've seen this team play like this, the way that you guys played today. How curious are you to see how these guys respond?
Yeah, no, they'll respond. I mean, look, there was some good things, there were some bad things, just like there is every game. Again, we're in an outcome, results-oriented business. We all understand that, but the things that we do during the week, the work we put in, how we study, that's what's gonna, that's what's important to me. Obviously, we want to win every game, but I think you stay consistent. I've talked about this plenty of times. It's easy to, oh no, what's going on? Like, we're going to be consistent. We're going to go through our preparation, and then we're going to go out and try to play the best we can play on Thursday.
You guys obviously have been consistent in your preparation, but now you've got to challenge the idea of condensing your preparation in a certain amount of time. I know you've put together a plan and how you're going to do it. Do you tweak anything off of today? Want to focus on something that maybe wasn't necessarily part of your condensed game plan this week, or do you stay consistent to what you guys have already set up?
Well, we have our routine that we're going to do. We're going to do a bunch of walkthroughs, and again, you're going to, go home, look at the tape tonight as a coach, and then you're going to get ready to go to play Dallas. That's all you can do.
What is it about Jamal Williams on the other side there that makes him such a force, in the end zone?
Yeah, no, I think they did it. Look, they did a good job. They have 160 yards rushing. Efficient in the pass game, 325 yards, 6 of 13 on third down, 4 of 5 in the red zone. I'd say overall, they just execute it really well.
Okay. All right, Dave.
See you guys.
Daniel.
That sound from head coach Brian Dable, brought to you by Ford. We're going to break down what the head coach had to say and more after this 31-18 loss to the visiting Detroit Lions after the break. But first, the New York Giants official mobile app is your destination for all things New York Giants. The updated mobile app includes the best Giants highlights, news, videos, updates, and podcasts, available for free for Apple and Android phones and tablets. We'll be back with more after this. Stay with us.
It's said we make 35,000 decisions a day. That's a lot to keep track of. But with the right insights from citizens, the money decisions feel easier.
Find out where that road leads. Take on any challenge. When you have the #1 brand and dependability, you stop thinking about what you can't do and start doing what you never thought possible. Get 2.9% APR for 48 months plus 500 trade assist cash on a new 2023 Forte.
Every day, nearly 2 million customers across New Jersey rely on PSE&G to provide natural gas. And every day, PSE&G is committed to doing it safely. That includes making sure you know what to do if you smell gas. A natural gas leak smells like rotten eggs. If you suspect a gas leak, leave your home immediately. Get far away, then call 911. Remember, smell, leave, call. Protect the ones you love. Learn more at pseg.com/gas safety.
Hi, folks. It's the Medicare annual enrollment period, and this year it's simple. 1, before the deadline, call the number below. 2, check your zip code for a Medicare Advantage plan with prescriptions, dental care, and the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every month. 3, you'll find out what you're eligible for. AEP has a deadline. Call now.
I called to find a plan that covers more of my dental expenses.
I call every year to make sure my doctor is still in my plan.
I called to find a plan with lower copays.
I called to see if my zip code has a plan with a benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I call every year.
Millions of people have called the Medicare coverage helpline. You can too. Get what you deserve. AEP has a deadline, so don't delay. Call now.
Call 1-800-381-0782. That's 1-800-381-0782 now.
Time now for our scoring drive of the game, brought to you by HCL Tech, supercharging progress, the official digital transformation partner of the New York Football Giants. For the drive of the game, we take you to the first quarter. As we bring up the full screen graphic of the drive of the game, the first quarter, 11 plays, 75 yards, took 5 minutes, 11 seconds off the clock, capped with a 3-yard rushing touchdown by Daniel Jones. Vanilla Vic gets in the end zone, puts the Giants on the board, 6-3 lead after the Graham Gano PAT is blocked. That's the scoring drive of the game, brought to you by HCL Tech. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, presented by NFL All Day. Madelyn Burke, Shaun O'Hare, Amani, Toomer hanging out with you here after the Giants fell to the visiting Lions 31-18. Before the break, guys, we heard from head coach Brian Daboll. A lot of things that he said stood out, but one of which essentially just sums it all up, saying, quote, "Nothing looked good enough today. It's hard to overcome 3 turnovers, especially when you're not getting any takeaways. Nothing was up to standard," coach saying about this team. Amani, when you hear that as a player, if you're in that locker room and you hear your coach say that, how does that fire you up on the short week?
Well, it just lets you know that the preparation that you did last week and the way you went about your business last week is not going to be good enough. This is going to be a division game, playing the Cowboys. It's going to be even more physical. So you're going to have to match up with the physical challenge that you didn't do this past weekend. And it's going to be one of those types of situations where, these is going to define the season. This game right now is going to decide the season more so than an out-of-division game.
Yeah, when you have a game like this and you kind of go back and look at the film and you see the mistakes you made, the good news is they're all correctable. And to your point, the turnovers, you can correct that. You can control that. The penalties, look, you could find a way to control that. The tough thing with the game today was it was not just turnovers, it was not just penalties, it was a combination of all of that. And we saw, really for the first time all season, the Giants could not get off the field on 3rd and long. There was too many times where they had them backed up, they had a chance to get off the field, and they let up a big play, or they got a personal foul. Oshane Ximines got hit with one for, a blow to the face, and it was just poor timing, and it just felt like one of those games. You know what? Some days you're the bull. Some days the bull takes you. And I think that's kind of what today was for the Giants. It was a struggle out of the gate. The first play of the game was a loss of 3 yards. And the first running play for the Detroit Lions was a 13-yard rip right up the middle of the defense. That kind of set the tempo for how the day was going to be. And those are things that you can correct. And you know what? On a short week, you got to correct them quickly. And to your point, this is a pivotal game. This game is huge for the Giants. It's huge for Dallas, and for implications towards the playoffs and towards the division.
And also, you have a young team, right? And a young team in the Giants, and you had a young team in the Lions coming in. And to beat a young team, you can't let them get any confidence going. And that's exactly what you did. Even from the first play of the game, handoff to Saquon Barkley, it wasn't like ordinarily when Saquon gets the ball and he's going upfield, you can tell he's going to make something happen. When Saquon gets the ball and stops his feet, it's pretty much the end of the play. Yeah. So that was kind of one of the telltale signs. And then there's a lot of drop balls, a lot of just sloppy play that is not the way this team has to play to win football games. You have to play very close to the vest. You have to play mistake-free football. You can't turn the ball over any team, especially. I don't care. You can't take any team lightly in the NFL, and this is a very good learning lesson for a lot of these players in this locker room.
Yeah, as Carl Banks is tweeting, saying, quote, "It was by far the worst team performance. They were punched in the face and couldn't respond. The Lions put up 31 points. The 5th time this season they've scored over 30. Tough day for the Giants defense." Let's send it down to the locker room where Paul Dottino is now with Kayvon Thibodeau.
Kayvon, all year long, you guys have been so good defensively in the red zone and on 3rd down, but the Lions seem to have a lot of success today. Can you pinpoint how that happened?
They made plays. Playing in this league, there's a lot of great teams, and I think today they just executed a lot better. We're going to have to get back to the drawing board and clean it up.
It looked like with all the windy conditions and so forth that it would be a heavy run game. I think everybody probably expected that going in. They had more success, I'm sure, than you guys thought they would.
Yeah, they gashed us a couple times in the middle. They had a few explosive plays. I wouldn't say it's something that we should really cry about, but we definitely got to get to the film and correct it and be better next week.
How much better did Goff play today than what he has shown on film?
I mean, he's an NFL quarterback. There's nothing I can take away from him or we can take away from that team. They executed, and, we didn't.
I thought their third quarter touchdown drive that started the second half was a pretty big one because it gave them another bulge in their lead. How difficult one was that to swallow?
It was definitely, just not being able to play complementary football and not being able to really hunker down and get those stops that we needed. That was a big part in the game. So now we just got to, like I said, get back to the drawing board and figure out what we need to fix.
Finally, you guys have been such a great second-half team all year. What was the thought at halftime that might be able to turn it around, and why didn't it work?
It was still just, not shaking. Obviously, we didn't make those plays. There was a couple turnovers at the end that killed us. But, yeah, just being able to make the plays that come to us and, keeping our head up and knowing we got a short week that we just got to get to work and we got to take it with a grain of salt and be better next week.
How tough is it to do those rounds?
That sound from Kayvon Thibodeau brought to you by Ford as we take a look at his numbers today. And as Kayvon said, complementary football, something the Giants had been doing so well earlier this season, something they struggled with today, and I'm sure we'll look to correct as they prepare for the Cowboys on Thursday. All right, we got much more to come on Giants Postgame Live. We're going to hear from Giants quarterback Daniel Jones, that and much more. Stay with us. More to come after the break.
Everyone loves an underdog story. You know why? Because it fills you with hope, makes you believe, right? Hold on now. Did you say any team? So now I can bet the overdog for underdog odds? Team Overdog, where you at? Let me hear you.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Bet just $5 to win $200 if your team wins. Action's so good, why bet NFL anywhere else?
Comfort is for every room in your home and everyone. When you take steps to improve your energy efficiency, you can enjoy all your favorite spaces just a little bit more. A home energy assessment is a great place to start. PSC&G offers expert advice to identify energy-saving opportunities in every room, and we'll help you pick the home energy assessment that's right for you. That's relaxation just the way you like it. Brought to you by PSC&G.
This winter, meet the heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Season of Performance.
This winter, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
At Catholic Health, when we see our island, we see extraordinary life. The most extraordinary of which is you. It's because our Catholic faith places the highest value on people, all people. It's the inspiration for our exceptional medical care with unmatched compassion. And it's why at Catholic Health you're more than a patient. You're someone's family, best friend, and a neighbor to us all. Long live Long Island.
Giants fans ready to take repping your team to the next level? NFL All Day is the ultimate new way to showcase your Giants fandom, built for the digital world. Collect your favorite moments from stars like Saquon Barkley and use them to compete for epic fan prizes. Try it out today on NFLAllDay.com. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by NFL All Day. Giants fell to the visiting Lions, but let's send it down to the podium where Julian Love is addressing the media.
Really, the story of today was just we didn't execute how we needed to. There were too many penalties. We didn't win the turnover battle. Field position on special teams wasn't the best, and so all around it was just wasn't our day.
Julie, you guys were so good in red zone this year and third down. Today they're 4 or 5 in the red. I think it was 6 or 13 on third down. What was the difference today? Yeah, honestly, it's just executing. I thought we had good calls. They're an offense who brings a lot at you, and they're talented at what they do. I think we just have to be more resilient when we get in those situations, especially in the red zone. How much did it hurt losing a Dory Jackson in the secondary? Yeah, it's tough. When that's our guy. He's been playing at a high level. To see him go down, that's very tough. And so now it's
for the game, we need young guys to step up and kind of throw them in the fire, which is a tough thing for any team to do.
You lose him, Fabian goes down, Xavier McKinney's already out. At any point, does all these injuries piling up become hard to deal with, even emotionally, for a team?
It's tough. It's tough for a defense, for our secondary in terms of execution and playing the game, and then it's tough personally. Those are your friends, those are your guys who you go to battle with each day, and to see them kind of banged around, it's tough. So yeah, we gotta find a way right now. We got some young guys have to step up, which I know they're going to do, and it's going thankfully it's a short week because we can get right back in action, and so that's kind of my mindset for it.
That sound from Julian Love brought to you by Ford as we take a look at his numbers today against the Lions, tied for the most tackles today. One of the big storylines, guys, of today's game, of course, injuries, especially in that secondary in this defense. Adoree Jackson going down, Jason Pinnock going down, a very thin secondary after those injuries, and that really played a role in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you can only weather the storm for so long. Of course, Xavier McKinney is still out after his bye week mishap. And then Fabian Moreau also was knocked out of the game for a little bit, too. So when you look at all of that, I mean, somebody's got to step up. And I think the Giants right now, at full strength, they have to fight and claw to win football games. So the depth of the roster is always going to be a challenge, especially at this point in the season. It becomes a battle of attrition. But, I think that's the challenge is on the coaching staff. Hey, make sure these guys are ready, and somebody's got to step up. Look, week in and week out, you see players dropping like flies here and there for certain teams, and you've got to find a way. So you can't use them as excuses, but it's definitely a factor.
Well, it seems like their acquisition of Landon Collins to come back on the roster and to be on the practice squad, maybe we could bring him up because, you need experienced guys who know the situation and know, being in this division, knowing how important division games are. Maybe that might be a good step for the Giants to go to. But, yeah, injuries are a part of the game, but they're a part of the game for every team. The Lions had a lot of injuries as well, and it goes to show that now you really figure out how good your general managers are, how good your pro personnel department is, because this is the time of year where you can have a pickup or two, and that pickup could end up putting your team over the top. So this is a situation where now not the players on the field doing their job. Now everybody around has to contribute to the success of this team moving forward.
Yeah, there was a point in this game where the secondary was Rodarius Williams, Fabian Moreau, and Jason Pinnock, all three guys who hadn't been on the active roster at the start of the season. But like you said, next man up is a very important thing in this league. All right, we've got more to come. After the break, we're going to hear from Giants running back Saquon Barkley, that and much more as Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by NFL All Day, continues after this short break. Stay with us.
What if you could own a moment? A moment when everything is on the line. I know the moment I'd want. Sunday, January 16th, the playoffs. We couldn't miss. That's a moment I'd like to own forever. Now you can too. Own the moments that matter. NFL All Day.
Each year, St. Jude Children's Research Hospital works to improve the lives of kids and their families around the world. And this holiday season, Kia wants to help. We're continuing our tradition of helping others by expanding Kia's Accelerate the Good partnership with St. Jude and making a donation for every new car purchased during the holidays. Join us and help celebrate Kia's season of giving back. Kia, movement that inspires.
It's said we make 35,000 decisions a day. That's a lot to keep track of. But with the right insights from citizens, the money decisions feel easier.
We believe there's an innovator in all of us. That's why we build technology that makes it possible for every business and every person to come to the table and do more incredible things.
It was a fun game to watch.
So much momentum coming into this game. The Giants were feeling it, and a spirited performance by the defense.
They played every single quarter.
They ran the ball well today. Were able to control that clock.
Down the left sideline to the 5 to the goal line. Touchdown, Giants! Saquon Barkley.
What a final play, but also what a game, what a win.
It's not because they have great pieces individually. It's how they work well together.
What should we do?
I'm going to CashNetUSA.com. I can apply in minutes, and if approved, we can have the money as soon as the same business day.
Go to CashNetUSA.com to apply for the money you need.
Hey, what's wrong?
Nothing.
Life's full of hidden problems. So we hid a comforting brownie and a Snickers.
I guess the first question is, did Hutchinson just drop back? You didn't see him?
Yeah, I didn't see him there, and got to see it. Bad decision there, but good play by him, and can't afford to do that.
Daniel, most times you don't want to play 3 days later a football game, but in this case you are. So is this a situation where after this loss you're pretty anxious to get back at it? You don't mind playing in 4 days?
I think so. Yeah, I think we're all already anxious to get this taste out of our mouths and come back and play a much better football game.
Was this a game where the things you had done well all season, it was like you weren't able to do any of them well? Not you personally, but the team.
Yeah, I mean, I think credit to Detroit. They had a good plan and stopped us in some areas that we've had success. So, I think credit to them, but we got to look at ourselves and see where we can execute better.
Sorry, I'm going to ask this. That first interception, could you kind of take us through that and what you saw?
Yeah, just got to see him dropping out and can't afford to make that decision, but good play by him and can't afford to do that.
How much the injury situation that you guys had today, just kind of people dropping consecutively, how hard is that for you as a quarterback and then losing Wandale?
Yeah, I mean, tough to see him go down. I thought he played really well today and made some really big plays for us throughout the game. And to see him go down like that is tough, and feel for him. Yeah, we've had guys step up and play well throughout the year, so it won't be any different here. But yeah, we all got his back and supporting him for sure.
That sound from Daniel Jones brought to you by Ford as we take a look at the quarterback comparison between DJ and Jared Goff. But got to highlight that 341 passing yards by Daniel Jones in one of the windiest games that we've got here at MetLife Stadium. That is the third most passing yards he's had in a game in his career and the highest passing yards total he has had at home here at MetLife Stadium. Of course, leading rusher on this team as well. But
Golf
speaking of the
well
run game,
-1. That's pretty hard.
right?
That's hard
Speaking
to
of
do.
the run game, let's send it down to Saquon Barkley in the locker room.
Saquon, how much of a mountain is it to climb when the team has 8 penalties and -3 in takeaway turnover ratio?
I mean, you got to give credit to Detroit. They came out, played a great game. They were physical. They executed more than us, and that's all it is. Good thing we got a short week. Got to put in the pass and move on and get ready for Dallas.
So many times this year we've seen you guys chop, and then break some big runs and really get it going. Not able to do that today. I guess that's because they got a big lead and you had to go to the pass, or was there something that they were doing in particular?
Like I said, you got to give credit to Detroit. They did a really good job of, stopping the run. As a collective, as a group, we got to do a better job in the run game, and that starts with me. I got to be way better, especially starting off a little faster for us. But like I said, got to watch film, move on, and get ready for Dallas.
What's the primary key for you to be able to do that with a quick turnaround, knowing you have to go to Dallas on Thursday?
Move on quick, put in the pass. I mean, just that's the only way you can. It's a short week. I guess there's beauty in it, playing off a game or especially have not a great game statistically and, didn't get the run game going. The best way to get over that is by moving on and playing another game.
How much of it all do you think this team's confidence is shaken from having a game like today?
0. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the NFL. Every team's a great team. They came out here, they played great. We're not going to panic. We're not going to worry. We're not going to waver at all. That's for you guys to go out there and say what you want to say about us. At the end of the day, the only focus we have is the man and woman in the locker room and in the facility.
That sound from Saquon Barkley, brought to you by Ford. Taking a look at the rushing comparison today, definitely not what we expected heading into this game. Saquon, of course, with just 22 yards on 15 attempts on the ground. Jamal Williams, 64 yards, but 3 rushing touchdowns. Most of them short yardage touchdowns, but still getting in the end zone for Jamal Williams, Shaun.
Yeah, all those plunges and the conversions in the red zone are huge, and the Giants just could not find a way to slow him down and stop him and force him to kick the field goals. I think probably the most disappointing thing for Saquon, for the Giants offense, is Saquon was the NFL's leading rusher coming into this game. And for him to have that little carries, that little production, look, there's really no excuse for it other than the fact that you got outplayed. And it's not a scheme thing because it's the same stuff they've been running all year long. You just, look, they got manhandled at the line of scrimmage. He never got going early on in the game. He never had a big run. His longest run of the day was 4 yards. That's just not typical of Saquon Barkley throughout his career. That's not typical of what we've seen from the Giants from this year on offense. And I think you just have to look at the amount of turnover they had today on the offensive line. We had a couple guys go out. Matt Parrott's in at right tackle for Tyree Phillips, who's already filling in for Evan Neal. Shane Lemieux starts at left guard. And then Feliciano's out. I still don't think this run game has been able to overcome the loss of Daniel Bellinger. They're hoping to get him back next week. He was so integral in blocking on the move. That is such a skill, and not just as a tight end in the home position and you're blocking the guy in front of you, but the ability for him to block on the move. That was a pivotal part of the run game. They haven't really been able to use that with Bellinger out, and it showed up today.
Well, the one thing that I take away from the Saquon interview is he said every team is a great team. And I think that now, you always hear that, but when you actually see one of the worst teams in the league come out and really stomp you guys out, that really sets the tone for the rest of the season and lets them know that, hey, we can't just roll the footballs out and beat anybody in the league. Every team is great, and you got to take every team and approach every situation with some sort of reverence, because these teams in the NFL are all drafted or all high-round picks. This is a league where you're going to have to compete every week. You can't just can't roll out the footballs and try to win.
Got to earn it.
Yeah, you got to earn it. A team is not its record. And as we said, Detroit, this is the 5th time this season they've put 30 or more points on the scoreboard. Nothing to sleep on. All right, after the break, we're going to have much more to come. But first, the Giants' official connected TV streaming app, Giants TV, brings original video content and game highlights on demand and direct to Big Blue fans. Giants TV is free on Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and in the Giants mobile app. Stay with us. More to come here on Giants Postgame Live.
Everyone loves an underdog story. You know why? Because it fills you with hope, makes you believe, right? Hold on now. Did you say any team? So now I can bet the overdog for underdog odds? Team Overdog, where you at? Let me hear you.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Bet just $5 to win $200 if your team wins. Action's so good, why bet NFL anywhere else?
In this town, you need to be productive 24/7. One truck is up to the challenge. The Ford F-150. It's the only one available with a mobile generator, with a work surface in the front and in the back. And the only one that's part of F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 45 years straight and counting. Right now, F-150 trucks are in stock for immediate delivery with 2.9% financing for 60 months.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a tax doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Hey, Giants fans, check out the Coach Dable Show presented by Stop & Shop. We'll look back on today's game and look ahead at next week's matchup. It's the Coach Dable Show airing every week on MSG Networks and on the Giants social media platforms. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by NFL All Day. The Giants fell to the visiting Lions 31-18. We now send it down to the locker room to hear from Andrew Thomas.
You can't turn the ball over in this league. It's definitely hard, especially getting into an explosive offense like Detroit. They've been scoring 30 points in a lot of their games, so we didn't help the defense out at all with that.
What was surprising about what their D did to stifle your running game so much in the first half? Because by the time you got behind in the second half, it was kind of hard to run the ball.
Yeah, they did a good job of scheming. They had some pressures that they ran, some run pressures against us to the open side of the field. I got to do better. I think it was the first play of the game. I got to do a better job of closing off the end and passing that off. But they did a good job of executing their plan. They flew to the ball, and then they got turnovers, and that's a tough thing to overcome.
What's the key to turning the page so quickly, knowing that on Thanksgiving you have to go down to Dallas?
Just put it in the way. You got to have a short-term memory. Even if we won the game, it's the same thing. A division opponent, it's going to be a tough game. Like I said, we have injuries, so we got to figure out what we're going to do about that. But it's a short week. You just got to put it away quickly.
That sound from Andrew Thomas, brought to you by Ford. Shaun, you know this more than anyone on this set. Andrew Thomas has been one of the best offensive linemen in this league so far. Just looking at the growth that this man's game has had over the years.
Yeah, Andrew's having a phenomenal season. He's playing at a Pro Bowl level, and it's been from start to this point. Every week he's played great. He's been excellent. He has been the Giants' best offensive player sans Saquon Barkley. And when you look at the production that he's had, it's great to see him in a system that I think he's comfortable in. He's worked really hard. I'll tell you one thing. Everybody talks about Andrew Thomas. He is a pro. Like he cares about being a great football player. He puts in the work. He puts in the time. He prepares, and it's paying off for him this season. It's all come together. He's done a great job with his technique, and week in and week out, he's shutting down some of the best pass rushers and best players in the NFL.
One thing I like is the overarching theme. When you listen to all the different interviews, they're all talking about what they can do. It's not like, oh, we need this from that side. They're all talking about what they personally can do. Saquon, I can get better. Daniel Jones, I can do better. I can't do that. Those are the types of things where people are taking on the responsibility, and that's how you get respect. And now not only you got to take on the responsibility, follow through, and make the adjustments so these types of games don't happen again. But the overarching theme is that all these players are taking accountability for what happened on the field today.
Pointing thumbs and not fingers,
yeah,
right?
Thumb pointers.
You want to point thumbs, not fingers, take it inward instead of outward and around the locker room. All right, well, we've got more to come on this show. After the break, we're going to wrap this one up, but stay with us for more Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by NFL All Day, the ultimate way to showcase your Giants fandom. Visit NFLAllDay.com for more.
By the time this Giants fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Giants watching. Better with Pepsi.
Find out where that road leads. Take on any challenge. When you have the #1 brand and dependability, you stop thinking about what you can't do and start doing what you never thought possible. Get 2.9% APR for 48 months plus 500 trade assist cash on a new 2023 Forte.
Comfort is for every room in your home and everyone. When you take steps to improve your energy efficiency, you can enjoy all your favorite spaces just a little bit more. A home energy assessment is a great place to start. PSCNG offers expert advice to identify energy-saving opportunities in every room, and we'll help you pick the home energy assessment that's right for you. That's relaxation just the way you like it. Brought to you by PSCNG.
we believe there's an innovator in all of us. That's why we build technology that makes it possible for every business and every person to come to the table and do more incredible things.
By the time this Giants fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Giants watching. Better with Pepsi.
It's a dangerous thing to discover what you're capable of.
Norris Trophy to Adam Fox.
Because once it clicks, there's no going back.
What a moment! The dream continues!
Once a dream becomes a possibility, it becomes a necessity, an obsession. It's dangerous because it begs the question, what else are we capable of?
How's it going, man? Ready to do this? He was born into it. The Islanders is our whole life, the whole family, everybody. Looks awesome.
I'm representing my favorite team. The Islanders are the best, and I just want people to know that.
Wins are hard to come by in this league, and we got a scrappy bunch.
The fans certainly did their part.
They absolutely did.
Coach, let's get into some plays.
You try to coach that the best you can.
But remember, it's still about our preparation and our process.
Fans, check out the Eli Manning Show presented by Panini Prism Trading Cards. All you have to do is subscribe to the Giants YouTube channel to catch all of the new episodes. It's the Eli Manning Show every Thursday on the Giants YouTube page. Welcome back to Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by NFL All Day. Madelyn Burke, Shaun O'Hara, Amani, Toomer, Shaun, one half of the Eli Manning Show. I feel like we got to get a rebrand in there, the Eli Manning and Shaun O'Hara Show.
I don't know. I think Eli spent a lot of time creating the name of the show and that caricature. So I think he would be heartbroken if we changed it to that. Plus, it costs a lot of money to have to change all the pillows and all the gear. So.
But you're worth it, Shaun.
I'm
you're
good with
worth
it.
it.
I'm good with it. I've always been, in front of him, next to him. Now I'm just.
But you know what? You're not a sidekick pawn.
Not a sidekick
as
pawn.
we heard in the
You're
bars that
Robin?
60 Cent here rhymed with Eli Manning and 504. And if you haven't seen it, check out the Eli Manning Show. Some great stuff you guys are doing out there in the city.
We were spitting bars. And, we had all kinds of drip.
All the drip, yeah. That wardrobe budget on that shoot, I'm like, let me get on that. Let me get in on that.
Throw some of that budget over here.
Yeah, I had that fuzzy wuzzy.
I mean, I know they gave us extra heaters, but I mean, they could give us a little drip.
Yeah.
All right. We've gone off the rails here as Giants Postgame Live is wrapping up. Of course, Giants fell to the visiting Lions 31-18, but a short turnaround this week to right the ship. The Giants are headed to Dallas to play the Cowboys Thursday, November 24th, Thanksgiving Day game. It's always special to play on Thanksgiving, especially against a division rival. Dallas, of course, currently playing the Minnesota Vikings as we speak. They are currently leading 10-3, but that game is in progress. So what are you expecting?
Well, I think for the Giants, they've got to, obviously you heard them talk about, we got to fix this, we got to correct it, turn the page, all the slogans and all of the little cliches. But they just got to get physical, right? This is always a physical game against the Cowboys. Look, they've got a two-headed monster, Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott. They like to play smash mouth football too. I think the big key for the Giants offense is you've got to find a way to slow down Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Dorian Armstrong. These guys will wreak havoc on your offensive line, your tight ends, your quarterback. That's mission number one. Slow down that pass rush. Find Micah Parsons. Run at him. Don't run away from him. He's too fast offensively. You need some production, though. They've got to have points. You want to win football games, you got to score.
And the defensive line definitely has to hold up. Sexy Dexy has to do his. Leonard Marshall and Leonard Williams in the middle has to do his thing as well. This defense has to make a stand. And this is the worst performance they've had all season. And the best thing you can have after a performance like this is a quick turnaround. You can't think about it. You can't let it marinate. You get right back on the field.
Yeah, these guys are eager to get back on the field, I'm sure, and show that this team that we saw today is not the Giants team that they expect to be playing on Thanksgiving Day, too. There's something a little special about that, isn't there?
Never did it, but
really?
No. You?
I did it once. We played in Denver. It didn't go well, but there is something special about it. I can't help but think about John Madden on Thanksgiving Day. The turducken was always a big tradition, and so the Giants, they don't really get to play on Thanksgiving very often, but to be down in Dallas, it's going to be a a great environment down there. The turkey will taste so much better after a win. I guarantee you that.
Absolutely. And of course, the league-wide will be celebrating the late John Madden, and hat tip to his turducken. Are you going to have a turducken on the Thanksgiving table this year?
Yeah, don't threaten me with a good time.
I'm more of a apple pie, pumpkin pie, pecan pie
well,
type guy.
we're going to plan our Thanksgiving
menu.
For Amani, Toomer, and Shaun O'Hara, I'm Madelyn Burke. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Giants Postgame Live, brought to you by NFL All Day. We'll see you next week for Thanksgiving Day recap. Have a good one.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Pop Stroke Tour Championship. I hope everyone has a great time. May the best putters win.
Welcome to the Pop Stroke Tour Championship. I'm Michael Breed, joined by Gavin Parker. And before we get to this Tour Championship, I want to talk about the Pop Stroke Initiative and what Greg Bartoli has done